Hey y'all! Pokemon Red using only Vaporeon was wet and wild. But this time, I'm gonna try to beat the heat. I'm gonna beat Pokemon Red using only one Flareon. As usual, the rules are we can only use one Flareon in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of these videos on my channel. Flareon is a fire-type Pokemon known for being one of the first set of evolutions. Flareon has never really found a place in the competitive VGC atmosphere, but it will always have a place in our hearts for being one of the originals. I mean, not that it ever stopped me from trying to use it, of course, because I'm insane. And as for the stats and moves, Flareon gets the raw end of the deal in this game. Its move pool is mostly normal moves, and it only gets 4 different fire-type moves, the best of which is Flamethrower, and it's not accessible until level 54. Sadly though, we'll get access to the 85% accurate Fire Blast long before that, so we'll probably be whiffing those 6 ways till Sunday. Well, at least the stats are better. Well, HP, defense, and speed are actually kind of terrible, but the offenses, now that's where it's at. 130 attack is crazy! And while in future games Flareon gets its special stats split so that it only has 95 special attack, in this game its special is 110, which is really good considering special is both offensive and defensive. Overall, I think people are sleeping on Flareon, and I have high hopes for this furball. Alright, let's do this. Off at Professor Oak's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Charmander with Flareon so that a rival will pick Squirtle. By the end of the run, the rival will have a Blastoise, which is bulky and knows the most powerful water move in the game, Hydro Pump, making it the hardest starter for Flareon to handle. Flareon is an adorable ball of fire-type fluff who just can't seem to get its hairdo under control, so I nickname ours Bad Flare Day. Some of you might not like that nickname, but I sure think it gels. Like Vaporeon, Flareon actually starts off with a complete moveset, and that really doesn't happen very often, so it's super neat. After the rival Bubs challenges us to a battle, we find out that our attack stat is so naturally high that quick attack is actually doing pretty good damage. Although our defense is so bad that we're taking just as much in return from his Squirtle's tackles, so love that. And I wonder how things will play out once Squirtle gets a water move, but for now, we're in the clear. You could say we're follow cool for now? By the time I made it to Pewter City, Flareon was only level 6, which is less than half of the level of Brock's rocks, but that doesn't really matter. Even though his rock types resist our Ember, the relative difference between their low special and our high special means we're absolutely blasting those fools. But, just to be safe, I did grab a few extra levels against the bug catchers in Viridian Forest, but that was more so to prepare for taking on Misty's water-type Pokemon at the next gym. In hindsight, I'm not sure if these levels were actually necessary, but if you give me some time, I can mull it over. Speaking of which, after traversing Mount Moon, I make it to Cerulean City and take on the Cerulean Gym Leader Misty, but yeah, there's no way we're gonna win that yet, so instead I take on the rival Bubs once again. Well, it turns out that wasn't a wise decision either. Pidgeotto's got a big old butt, and it whips that thing around to fling sand in our eyes, so we proceed to miss no less than 800 times. And the only upside is that having our accuracy lowered so many times means that our attack is being raised by the Boulder Badge's boosting effect, reapplying every time that our stats are modified. You know, because this game's code is held together by wet spaghetti. Bad news, of course, is that we can't actually hit any of our moves, so yeah, we end up losing to the Rattata. The Rattata, people! The Rattata! What else can I even do besides whine ingrown hair? That joke is more of a struggle than this battle. Several tries later, and with far less sand in our eyes, I make it past the Rattata and finally take on the Squirtle. Bubble is super effective, but actually does less damage than I expected. Although, Bubs does make things worse for himself by using Tail Whip, which again lowers our defense but also reapplies the Boulder Badge boost to give us additional attack. Thanks, Bubs! He basically used every move but Water Gun, which is surprising. After all, it's on a hair trigger. Alright, with Bubs behind us, it's time to take on Misty and more than likely get completely blown back by her Bubulous Barrage. Or maybe not. Hey, Flareon lands a massive critical hit to crush Staryu, so we get to the Starmie with full health. And good thing too, because while even a single Bubble Beam would be enough to derail this entire hype train, Water Gun does just enough that we're able to survive 4 of them on a sliver of health. That's right, just enough health for us to finish pounding Misty's Starfish. With Quick Attack. With Quick Attack. Whew! Thank goodness that battle's over. That was difficult. Although, in hindsight, I guess I could have just skipped ahead to the SSN and gotten the TM for Body Slam, which would have made this whole thing a lot easier, but oh well, that's not what happened. You can call me a humidiot, but it frizz what it is. After beating Misty, we hop aboard the SSN to take on the rival Bubs once again. Aboard the boat, I now pick up the TM for Body Slam and teach it to Flareon. And with it, we are crushing Bubs' dreams, taking souls, making his dad feel great shame. Wait, Professor Oak is his grandfather, but who's his dad? Anyways, Pudgeotto doesn't even get the chance to be an annoying little butt munch by using Sand Attack because Body Slam is just knocking everything out in a single hit. Partly because Body Slam is strong, and partly because of Flareon's 130 base HP, and also kinda partly because we're level 26. I really didn't battle more trainers than necessary to get past Brock and Misty, so I don't really know what to tell you. That's just how it is sometimes with the levels. Yeah, really nothing else to say. Like a mullet. That's the long and short of it. Now that we can use Cut outside of battle, it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge at the Vermilion City Gym. Not that it's really much of a challenge though. Body Slam hits his physically frail electric Pokemon super hard. My only concern is the fact that Raichu will outspeed and could critical hit and paralyze with Thunderbolt, but Raichu comes out and hits the Thunderbolt, and then, well, that's it. It just does some damage. Raichu survives Body Slam, but thankfully we finish it off with Quick Attack before it can attack again. And yeah, I do feel a little guilty knocking out Raichu. After all, it's my favorite Pokemon. Why is it my favorite Pokemon, you ask? Well, it's not just because it's cute. It's also pompadorable. After crawling through the darkened rock tunnel, I arrive in Lavender Town to take on the rival Bubs in the Pokemon Tower. At this point though, we're level 31, and even though Bubs has a couple of shiny new Pokemon toys to help console the grief he must feel over that dead rat of his, they can't do anything to stand in the way of Flareon's continuing onslaught. Even Wartortle barely does anything to Flareon, even getting paralyzed by Body Slam just for bad manners. Good grief, Flareon. If you're not careful, he's gonna have to bury another one of his precious Pokemon. Although, I shouldn't make fun of Bubs for losing a team member. After all, it's not easy having your crew cut. And now that we've beaten Bubs, it's time to take on the Grass-type gym leader in Celadon City. And you might think that this is a foregone conclusion, but this battle's not free. In fact, Flareon still only has access to Ember, which can't even knock out Victreebel with a critical hit. In fact, the only reason that we win this battle on the first try, and so easily, is because Victreebel doesn't use Sleep Powder, and instead misses a Wrap. Once it goes down, Erica really can't do anything to us, which is nice. And Ember might be weak, but also, off of a 110 base special, it's still strong enough to get the job done. Then again, why would we ever want a better fire move by now anyways? What's the rush? We'll get there eventually, I guess. What's another 10, 15 levels? After all, it's like washing your hair. If you don't want to ruin the natural oils, you've really got to grease into it. After beating Erica, I head to the game corner to take on Giovanni in the Team Rocket hideout. Once again, even though Ember is a weaker move, it's still able to deal with Giovanni's Rock-type Pokemon because of their low special. Actually, Onix could have done some damage with a super effective rock throw had it not missed. I mean, even if it had hit though, doesn't really matter. Plus, Ember picked up a cheeky little burn to have Onix's already pitiful attack. I'm not sure if all this means that Flareon is incredible, or rather that Giovanni is dumber than a bag of beans. I'll leave that up to you to decide. But in my opinion, Team Rocket calling him the boss is just a cruel joke. In fact, it's a shampoo. Now it's time to take on Koga at the Fuchsia City Gym. Before the battle though, I completely forgot to heal up at the Pokemon Center, and as a result, I run out of body slams pretty quickly during this battle. I have just enough to get through the first 2 coughings and the muck, but not enough left over to finish off the wheezing. I flounder and flail until we get knocked out, but I guess technically I could have still won by spamming Sand Attack and just hoping for Wheezing to miss a self-destruct. Hey, remind me to do that next time. It's not a bad idea. It's basically like Flareon ducking for cover while Wheezing melts its own face off. Kind of reminds me of the end of that one Indiana Jones movie. What was it called? Oh yeah, Braiders of the Lost Ark? Alright, I've restored our pee-pee, and now it's time to try again. This time we've got plenty of pee-pee, but we've still gotta whomp the Wheezing. Heck, that is easier said than done. This thing is actually pretty strong. 2 sludges bring us down to very low health, and we get poisoned to boot. We've only got 12 HP left when Wheezing survives our body slam, and any attack will take us out. But Koga uses another X attack for absolutely no benefit whatsoever. Great, I'll take it. Hey, instead of raising your attack, maybe next time try raising your IQ, Dingle McCringleberry. Oh god, Koga, that was silly. Very silly. Like neglecting to wash your hair for months on end. I dare say, it was dreadful. After beating Koga, I head to Saffron City for yet another rival battle with Bubs inside of the Sylph Company building. Flareon's low speed really shows here. Pidgeot moves first, and that's even when you factor in that Koga's badge is boosting our speed. So we take 2 wing attacks, one of which was critical, but after that it's pretty smooth sailing. Could have been way worse had Execute landed that Stun Spore, but it doesn't. Alakazam goes down in a single hit, and then the Blastoise comes out. The turtle gets paralyzed, and then wastes its time going for Bubble and Withdraw. And I'm pretty sure this thing has Hydro Pump right now, so not exactly your brightest moment either, Bubs. Maybe you should hang out with Koga. Although, even when we beat him, he still has the nerve to talk trash. He is just like a mohawk. So stuck up. After beating Bubs, I've got to battle Giovanni. And while it's not that bad of a battle, and we went on the first try, I'm a little concerned with how little HP Flareon has by the end of it. We didn't even get hit that many times, and those hits weren't very strong moves either. We just have no physical bulk to speak of. And that's not a great sign for the future if Sylph Company Giovanni is giving me pause for concern. If things start looking too dandruff, I might have to flake. Alright, well I should probably go beat Blaine next to get the Volcano Badge to boost our special, but since I'm already in town, I head next door to take a crack at Sabrina at the Psychic Gym. And I guess that was a decent idea because we beat her on the first try, yeah. Her Psychic types have low physical defense, and Venomoth is a bug, so Flareon smashes through them easy peasy. Alakazam could have ripped us a new one, but it uses Psywave, which is a trash move. And Body Slam paralyzes, so we outspeeded the next turn to win the battle. And well, that went quicker than I expected. I guess you could say it wrapped up curly. Now there's nothing left to do but surf down to Cinnabar Island to take on the Fire-type gym leader Blaine. And it's a good old-fashioned firefight. Growlithe surprisingly, though, survives a Body Slam on just a sliver, and when it goes down, we level up, and I get to teach Fire Spin to Flareon. I got rid of Sand Attack since I haven't used it the entire run outside of dodging Brock's bite, I'm pretty sure. Ponyta and Rapidash go down pretty easily, and I thank Blaine for not trying to take us down with resisted Fire Spins. He could technically do it because we're so hecking slow, but thankfully, Blaine is not feeling like that big of a jerk today. I will say, he is the kind of jerk to critical hit a takedown and almost knock us out, and that's fun. But thankfully, we got rid of Sand Attack and not Quick Attack, because where the former might have helped, we're guaranteed to win with the Lather. Now it's time for the final showdown with Giovanni for our final gym badge. This battle is actually pretty tough. I went into it thinking we'd be fine to just sweep through Giovanni's team like before, but that's not how things turned out. I had to use Fire Spin to bring Rhyhorn down low enough for an Ember to finish it off, and then I Body Slammed Dugtrio, and I needed to waste its turn going for Guard Spec, otherwise we take a dig, and that's no bueno. I'm glad as well, because what I'm not really telling you is that this footage is not the first time I attempted this battle. A handful of the attempts, Flareon did get one KO'd by Dugtrio's dig, and even when that didn't happen, we'd be so low on health that any one of Nidoqueen, Nidoking, or Rhydon's attacks would finish us off. It's likely no coincidence that this is the first battle I had where Dugtrio didn't attack us, and it's also the only time we managed to win. In hindsight, I probably should have replaced Ember for Fire Blast, because it's way stronger, but y'all, I cannot emphasize how much I dislike inaccurate moves, and I'm already using Fire Spin, which is sadly both necessary and also less accurate. After all, some of these battles are already close shaves, and I'm not really much of a whisker taker. Before we can take on the Elite Four, we have to battle the rival Bubs once again. And this battle is the first major wall that Flareon has hit. And we're at that point where something's got to give. Either we level up until we can win, or change up our moveset and hope for the best. Quite frankly, I'm not excited about either, but I might not have a choice. Alright, for the battle, we take some damage from Pidgeot, but it's not until the Blastoise that it really sinks in that we have just got to do something else here. The Blastoise stands up to our Body Slams pretty well, but we're sure as snail snot not gonna take a Hydro Pump. And even if it's not a critical hit, it really doesn't matter. But don't worry, I've got it all under control, believe me. After all these videos, I'd say my resume speaks for itself. Alright, after a while, I ended up grabbing a few extra levels just to hit level 50. It's nice for the extra stats, but also the additional damage that we do with the way the damage formula rounds when calculating for a user whose level ends in 0, 3, 5, or 8. Hey, that's us, level 50! Oh, nifty. I've also replaced Quick Attack with Mimic so that I can copy Agility from the Growlithe. I've explained a million times before how our stats being modified in battle reapplies the badge boosts we get, but this time I legitimately just want the extra speed more than anything. With it, Alakazam goes down without ever getting to attack, and then it's time for the Blastoise. With the extra levels and the badge boost to attack, our Body Slam is just barely a 2-hit KO, but the Blastoise raises its defense with Withdraw. Okay, so, well, the next Body Slam's not going to take it down, unless we land a critical hit. Alright, fine. I'll take it. And look, I can already hear some of you whining about the fact that this is not the first time in this challenge that we've won because of a critical hit. But guess what? I don't care. Now, if you're done complaining, may I recede? Alright, it's time to take on the Elite Four. But first, here are the stats and moves. Flareon is level 54. And even at this level, the defense and speed are still trash. But the attack and special are pretty great. Technically, we got to the Elite Four level 51, but I leveled up to 54 so that we could finally learn Flamethrower. Just a little frustrated that we didn't get to have a halfway decent fire move until the friggin' Elite Four, but then again, who's keeping track of that sort of thing? Not me, not at all. By the way, we need all the stats we can get, so I made sure to go to the Celadon City department store and use vitamins to help strengthen our hair. Nothing too crazy, just a little Kara tinkering. First up is Lorelei with a team of Ice-type Pokemon, which should be easy for Flareon, right? Wrong! Only her Jinx is weak to fire. For instance, the Dugong is Ice and Water type, so our fire moves are neutral, even if the text says that it's not very effective. I mean, I sure don't feel very effective when I have to whittle the thing down with Fire Spin Chip to keep it from healing back up to full with rest repeatedly. Whatever, I take it down after what feels like, I don't know, 27 turns, and then the Cloyster goes down in 2 flamethrowers, which is awesome. But then the Slowbro comes out, and here I contemplate using Mimic to copy Amnesia to boost our special to the max, at which point I'm pretty sure we would blast through Lorelei's team easily. But for now, let's just see what happens if I don't do that. Jinx goes down in one hit, and then it's the Lapras, which does no Hydro Pump. Flareon only has half its health, so I've got to chip the Lapras down with Fire Spin to prevent us from getting knocked out. But it all goes to Trubbish when we miss a Fire Spin, and she lands a Hydro Pump. I probably should have seen that coming. The battle was clearly already over, dead in the dirt, but I wanted to pretend like it wasn't. I guess you could call it a catacomb over? Seriously, that has never once looked good on someone. Once again, at an impasse, I contemplate replacing one of our moves for Fire Blast, but I really don't want to do that. So for now, I decide to just try a couple more times and hey, see what happens. As before, the Dugong is, once again, a big fat blubbery buffoon that takes forever to knock out, and something Cloyster looks suggestive, and then we get to the Slowbro. And hey, an idea clicks in my brain. I know objectively I should mimic Amnesia, but guess what? I'm not going to. Not gonna badge boost. Yeah, that's right, to that one psychotic weirdo who complains on every single one of these videos about the badge boost, yet still watches each one of them for some reason. I am finally capitulating to your complaints. Congratulations, everyone! Cancel culture works, I think. But for real though, I actually don't care about that clown in the comments section. I honestly just forgot to use Mimic this time. All is well though, because while we miss a Fire Spin against the Lapras, it misses a Hydro Pump in return. Otherwise, that would have ended in basically the exact same defeat as last time, so woo! Sure got ourselves into a hairy situation. We almost got caught in the fray, but thankfully we weren't left stranded. I've really tied myself into a knot with these jokes. With Lorelei defeated, it's time to take on Bruno. His Pokemon don't stand a chance of taking down Flareon, even without mimicking Onix's Harden to raise our defense. Despite resisting Fire-type moves, both of his Onix go down in a single Flamethrower. In fact, all of his Pokemon get 1-hit KO'd by Flamethrower, except for the Machamp, which wastes Bruno's only chance to attack on using an X-Defend when we're using only special attacks. Hey Bruno, why don't you X-Defend that last brain cell of yours? You bore me, Bruno. I'm falling asleep over here. A fine lord like myself needs something to Widow's Peak his interest. Not sure why I went British there for a second. I guess beating Bruno so badly had me feeling like a bit of a bigwig. Now it's time for the Elite Four member Agatha, and foreshadowing, she's got me regretting bullying Bruno because she really puts me through the ringer. Her team is so annoying. She spams frustrating status moves, and also, her ghosts have really high special, so our high special doesn't really help our Fire-type Flamethrower do that much damage. And the ghosts are unaffected by Body Slam as well, which would have made this a whole lot easier, but c'est la vie. On most attempts, I don't even make it past the lead Gengar or Golbat, and I group them together because she likes to randomly switch between the two for seemingly no reason. So, with Confuse Ray and all that nonsense, here's to slapping ourselves in the face yet again, while Agatha goes completely AWOL. Alright, this may take a while, but please, stick around. I'll appreciate it, if you do. I decide to even the odds a bit by using 2 rare candies to reach another damage rounding threshold, level 58, and this should turn all of her Pokemon into at least a 2-hit KO with Flamethrower. But I guess we'll never know because Flareon gets an unusually high amount of critical hits this time around. So it actually looks like we're going to get past Agatha pretty easily, which is great, honestly. Oh, no. It's coming down to the wire against the last Gengar. Okay, Flamethrower looks like it's going to be a 2-hit KO, but Nightshade. Great. Oh, God, if I don't find a way to brush off these status moves, Bristle be the end of the run. Okay, so you know how the saying goes. Third time's the charm, chicken and parm. Don't look it up. Alright, we get to the Gengar with plenty of health, and even get a burn with Flamethrower. JK, scrap everything I just said. We actually smack ourselves in confusion and take a Nightshade, so here we go! Come on, Flareon. You just gotta break through confusion Oh, yes, thank you! Oh my god, thank goodness it's finally over! There's no way that the rest of the Elite Four can be any worse than this. And honestly, I don't care. If it is, I'll do whatever I have to do for some hair peace of mind. There is no price too steep to pay. Next up is the final Elite Four member, Lance the Dragon Master, and he might honestly be the easiest of all the Elite Four members for Flareon to defeat if I weren't lying straight to your face. No, actually, this one's a pain in the pituitary gland, don't look that up, and let me show you just what happens. Oh, I don't know, like 80% of the time, which is we miss our fire spin and take a hydro pump to hydro dump most of our health points. Then, and get this, we miss another fire spin right as Lance crits a hydro pump. So, yeah. Gyarados was dodging our moves like a bad hairdo, or as I like to call it, bob and weave. And after a mind-numbing set of attempts with the fire spin strategy that quite frankly did not work, I switched to using Body Slam. It's a 3-hit KO, and there's also the 30-something% chance to paralyze working in our favor. There's also the possibility that Lance misses 2 consecutive Hydro Pumps, which could have happened sooner. And after the Gyarados, things get a little crazy. I go against my previous principles by using Mimic to copy Agility to badge boost against the Dragonair. And look, this fiery furball needs all the help it can get. Besides, for all those naysayers out there, feast upon the Grey Day Wagyu karmic justice that is us getting confused by Supersonic and smacking ourselves in confusion. Hyper Beam's a fun move, and once we make it past Aerodactyl, we've got 9 HP left for the Dragonite. It takes less than half its health from a Body Slam, but it doesn't attack, it just uses Agility. Okay, one more chance, and it's a damage range, whether or not we win, and we don't get the range, but we paralyze! And Dragonite doesn't get paralyzed, but it misses Slam! Okay, alright. Thank God that's over, I only had to do that like, 20 times. Lance sure is one bad hombre, and that's because he's always condition out lots of damage. Finally, it's time to take on the champion, our rival Bubs. I am not at all confident going into this one, so let's just cross our fingers and toes and hope for the best. Okay, Pidgeot lets us take it down without doing any damage because it was too busy using Whirlwind, which doesn't even work in this game. Remember? Spaghetti code? And then Alakazam uses a Recover at full health as we critical hit with Body Slam for the 1-hit KO. Alright, I can dig this. We ever so slightly missed the 2-hit KO on the Rhydon, and Bubs uses a full restore just to waste everyone's time, but at least Flareon was faster than something for once because Rhydon moving second means that its 1-hit KO moves like Horn Drill will never work. We even take a Leer, which badge boosts our attack, special, and speed. And with that extra bit of attack, Body Slam becomes a 2-hit KO against the Arcanine, which uses Roar to do absolutely nothing. You know, Spaghetti code. Roar works just like Whirlwind, and now my mind is daydreaming about a cyclone of spaghetti. Well, that's just delicious. Okay, focus. Oh wait, it wasn't a 2-hit KO, but after a full restore, Arcanine just spams Leers, giving us even more badge boosts. With 3 extra badge boosts to special, Flamethrower roasts Exeggutor's coconuts in a single hit, and finally it's the Blastoise. But we level up, which means our badge boosts are reset back to normal. Crap. We take a Hydro Pump for most of our health, and we are not going to survive another one, but a Paralysis might help, especially if Blastoise gets fully paralyzed. Hey, have I mentioned that Body Slam's a really good move? And again, I know some people aren't going to like that this is how it ends, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion, I get it. It's like they say, some people like brunettes, and some people like blondes. To bleach their own. And with that, the challenge is over. Flareon was actually a surprisingly good Pokemon. Overall, I didn't have high expectations, but still it did alright. For all its shortcomings in terms of the challenge, at least it makes up for it with style. What I'm really trying to say is, Flareon might not be the greatest battler, but when it comes to hairstyles, it's the best of the best. Or as I like to call it, top notch. As always, I want to thank you all for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can check out the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos as well. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And if you want access to all of my past challenge videos without ads, consider becoming a member or by joining on Patreon. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and I might do it. Next time, I'll be trying to beat Pokemon Red using only one Jolteon. Alright, until then,